Okay, into retro. What's up? Okay, so let's clap it up. All right, so the topic, the very short topic, because I don't do any of this, but the short topic, because I already made the Canva thumbnail, and I'm going to use this fucking thumbnail. I like it, and it looks pretty. It's just like a basic picture. But you know, like, YouTube is one of those places where, like, I don't know, you feel like you put in so much, even if, like, the most basic thumbnail, like, you put so much effort in trying to, like, put it together, you know? Like, one of the people on YouTube, she was talking about, like, how making a thumbnail for her is, like, such a great process. It's, like, a fun process. It's, like, not an escape, but it's just, like, a creative exploration. So respect your YouTubers that put effort into like making the thumbnail. Even choosing like, even if it's just a picture, like a picture of the cards with like a font. Like, you know how many fonts there are in the world? A lot. So yeah, the topic, a minute and a half in, the topic is love spells. So basically, I've like thought about this because I am actually considering getting a love reading before the year is out. A love reading and then like other readings pertaining to like just life in general. But I do want a love reading. I got one several years ago. It was, I bought extendeds before too. And currently I'm on Patreon, so like I watch extendeds for that, for somebody. So I've gotten a love reading 2018-ish. Somewhere there. It definitely was for the pandemic. It was definitely way before then. So probably like 2018-ish at the latest, early 2019, but I think it's more 2017, 2018. And I liked it. I like getting perspectives outside of self. So it's really good for me. Now, one of the things that I kind of consider when you like, you know, you're watching a lot of love readings and you're constantly thinking about this person, it's not that we're putting spells on them, but what happens when you start to like actively pursue that route of wanting to have like work done? And maybe because I'm not a practitioner, I am like cautious and a little bit more weary of this, but like I kind of feel like, yes, watching love readings and then getting work done to attract somebody, they're very different. They're very different, like vibrations. I think once you start to like, there's one thing to like think about something or someone like a lot, and that's still pulling on their energy, and that does go to like ethics a little bit, right? Particularly if you're looking for a specific person, you're pulling on that specific person's energy to bring into the reading. But it's another thing to actively pull on their energy to force them to come into your reality. And I don't know if I'm you want to see the plant? It's like huge as fuck. Yo, it's like really huge. It's not mine, it's my grandmother's. I would never be able to take care of a plant like that. But yeah. So it's like one thing to like give readings them, but it's another thing to start getting work. And my personal thoughts on a lot of like magic systems and a lot of systems that we use, particularly when they start getting used for love readings, is that a lot of these systems have been defiled for a lot of personal gain. And it's probably one of the reasons why I have opted out of doing a lot of like priestesshood type things, because I just kind of feel like the systems are corrupt. Now back to like love spells. I feel like I don't know, I feel like working on yourself is the love spell. Like, you are the love spell, you know? Like, you being at the highest vibe you can be is like the love spell. Like, you don't need to pay someone for that. I would like pay for like a self-love spell, or learn how to do one yourself, or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like you could be setting yourself up for a disaster, especially if you're wrongly assuming that you're like twin flames, or you're meant to be. Like, a lot of people, I mean, like, what are you getting this spell for? Are you getting this spell so this person doesn't leave? What is it boiling down to is kind of what I'm getting at, or trying to get at. Because my head started hurting. I know someone who's going to watch this is not going to like it, because they may have gotten it done. But it's like, you know, prolonging the ending really just sucks for you in the end. I mean, yeah, like, you're messing with that energy, and it can keep them there for a while, but ultimately, if they don't want to be there, they don't want to be there. And I think also you start messing with people's, like, people in the back, which is my, like, way of saying, like, ancestors and stuff like that. Like, some people's ancestors don't want you to be there, you know? Like, there's certain ancestors that have a clear cut picture of who they want, and then here you come along with your desires, and then paying money for someone else, not even you doing it, for someone else to perform the spell, or you doing it on your own. It kind of gets wearing, because in the amount of time you could do that, work on yourself, you know? I think the best love spell is you being you, and you doing you, and you living your truth out loud. And I think we are going to get to a place where people are going to try and make stuff like that, like, permanent. Permanent as in, like, oh god, my Saturn return is coming up. So, you know, people who want to be married, being desperate, wanting relationships, being desperate, like, there's probably gonna be a bunch of people that, like, pop up out of nowhere that, like, all of a sudden, like, can do love spells and shit. I would be very weary of that. PSA. But that stuff can get really dangerous, and I think really evaluating what's going on. And then my thing is, some people don't even want this person. It's just like, well, then let them go. Let them go then. Like, you want them bound to you, but you don't want them. This is like, you want baggage? You want baggage? Like, really? Like, wow. Like, I don't know. The more I think of that, the more I just am grateful that Saturn and Pisces relates to my relationships. I have Lilith and Pisces also. Lilith and Pisces, like, I don't know. Like, I've learned a lot of lessons with regards to not necessarily romantic relationships as in being in one, but that pining, that codependency, that sometimes it's an ancestral cycle of picking the wrong people. The ancestral cycle of picking the wrong people, wishing that your partner was something else, not seeing your partner for who they are, realizing too late, like a kid in, 2 kids in, that this person isn't who you thought. and that you were probably lying to yourself or not as discerning. So I would just reconsider it, guys. And what are your thoughts on love spells? Do you get them done? Do you do them? Like, I don't consider love spells like 100% evil, but I think binding people to you is a certain thing that again, I don't practice anything, so I'm not speaking on that from a practitioner standpoint, right? Just a concerned citizen. A concerned onlooker. An anonymous citizen. But I really do sometimes. I think, especially when you like start seeing the long tirades and the long messages that people send, like some of that is like bots, obviously. But then like sometimes you be reading it like, damn, like I remember years ago, oh my god. I remember years ago. I was like, this gotta be like this person is fucking lying. It was on, of course, it was on a cancer reading. You know, like they talk about cancers as being like the worst in love. And so I'm like looking at the comments, and then the one lady was like, we're gonna be together. He was like, my boo's in jail facing a life sentence because he did in his whole family, but we just gonna be together. And people under the comment was like, you gotta be fucking lying, like you cannot be serious. But it's serious out here. That kind of stuff is serious out here. And I think some of this stuff is sweeping under the rug a lot of mental illness, a lot of mental instability, a lot of like emotional abandonment issues. And I'm saying that as someone who's gone to therapy inconsistently, and like can evaluate her own like mental psychosis. I don't know. I just be feeling like, do we ever like stop before we like do this stuff and think like, what can I do to make myself better? Like getting a love reading doesn't have to focus on like the other person. It could be like different perspectives. And I think sometimes, even though people don't necessarily know you personally, you know, if they can read the cards well enough, they may be able to give you perspectives, or they can intuitively feel things around you. So, you know, it's not like psychological fact or medical fact, but they're perspectives, and they can be considered or not. So yeah, what do you think about love spells? What do you think about all this craziness? I wouldn't do a love spell. You know what? I'm thinking about my mom's chart. I gotta do a video on that. Because she would be the person to do that. That's another story for another day. Okay, bye.